the feminine side. The standpoint. Still listen to the feminine side. The standpoint.
Hello there and welcome to The Standpoint. This is a show that empowers holistically women, girls, the youth, and every single human being who has a feminine side and understands that the feminine side has a voice that needs to be heard. Today, it's going to be a bit emotional. Abuse, in whatever form, is wrong. But you see, sometimes you can't handle, you can't determine, you can't control being a victim of abuse. But you can be a survivor. You can rise above it. Preventable, excellent, that's what we preach. But sometimes, just sometimes. Anyway, welcome to The Standpoint. Today I have 3 people sharing their experiences of abuse and how they are faring on their journey to healing. Abused, but not damaged. Yes. They tried, but you can't break their spirit. Well, let me say thank you to Twinny Craft for my silk tie and dye, my rich auntie boo boo by Brie Redra. Thank you so much to her. My earrings and of course bracelet by Twinny Craft. My makeup by Touch by Rosie. We take a break. When we come back, we meet the 3 women. It's going to be a bit emotional, but you need to watch it because we still have a lot to learn. We'll be back.
The standpoint. The standpoint.
Welcome back to The Standpoint. Today, it's a story of survivor, actually stories of survivors who have endured some form of abuse and they're willing to speak up so others may look out for the red flags and also to know that to be abused doesn't mean that you are damaged. You can rise again. Be on your feet and be a voice. Our theme for this year, as you know, as a woman, dare to be bold. So I have some 3 young, bold women here who are willing to share their stories. Let me say thank you to Vena Mineral Water. Vena Mineral Water has a balanced pH level. So it has all the right minerals and then it's low in sodium. It believes in sharing love and changing lives as well. And Bigo Drinks, thank you so much to them. Now, seated on my set, I have Amma Mansa, who is a student and a model. Amma, welcome to The Standpoint.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, next to Amma, I have Rachel Markham, who is a student and a writer and author of a beautiful book, Transformation. Welcome to The Standpoint.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now, let me start with you, Rachel.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm doing good, ma'am.
At what stage would you say you are on your journey to healing?
I would say that I am very close to making a full recovery, even though dealing with any form of abuse can feel like it can become a lifelong struggle. Healing is possible, but there are several processes that you have to go through. But I definitely think I'm in a much better place. Yes, sometimes I have flashbacks. Yes, sometimes I feel like I'm still,
It's raw.
exactly, but I know that I'm so much stronger, and I have God to thank for that, and everyone around me who has been very supportive through this healing journey. Yeah.
Amma, what about you?
Yeah. It's not easy, and to have to be battling yourself, to accept yourself, your own body, to be able to look at yourself in the mirror every day and say, okay, so this is me now. I have to accept my body the way it is. Sometimes you don't even want to look at yourself because you feel like that's not you. you look at yourself and you don't see yourself. It's like it's just an image. So healing is definitely not easy. Sometimes there are few things that you see on your media pages or around you that could trigger
Trigger.
you
The
back
triggers, yes.
into um, remembering the exact moment and the exact time and what happened and how you feel. It's not easy, but
How long has it been?
well, it's been, let's say, years,
Yeah.
over a decade,
Yeah. And do you sometimes beat yourself up on like, no, it's been too long. I need to get over it. Do you get through that?
sometimes, but with God, everything is possible. Even if you feel your lowest possible point, if you know you have God in your life and you look up to Him to help you and guide you mentally, I think you would get there, even though it's not an easy journey.
Okay.
Yes.
Now I see, Amma, I see in your shirt, abusers do not get to rob survivors of their freedom. Transformation. Okay. Okay. No, transcend and transform.
Yes.
Transcend and transform. So you are part of MFS group. Your group. Can you share with me what happened?
I've had 3 different experiences on 3 different occasions in my life. I'd say my first experience was when I was 5 years old. My mom was busy with work, so I was in boarding school. And I know people would say, yeah, your mom didn't have time for you. That's why something like that happened to you. But
It's no
I don't
excuse.
think it's an excuse for whoever did that to me
It's
to
no
actually do
excuse.
it.
Absolutely no excuse.
So it was a senior that he didn't actually have any sexual intercourse or anything with me, but he actually made me touch on him and so many other stuff. So I thought, okay, let me.
Did he put his genitalia, his penis in your mouth
Yeah, he made me do that and touch on him
at the age of 5?
at the age of 5, yes. So when he did that, I got scared because he told me if I'm to tell anybody else, he's going to make the boarding house a living hell for me. So imagine a very big boy telling you that. That's a very scary thing for a 5-year-old to hear.
Course.
So I went to the proprietor and told him, this is what this senior did to me. I want to call home and tell my mom. And he was like, oh no, don't worry, I'm going to deal with him. So I'm going to make sure he's expelled. I'm going to call your parents and tell them. And I was like, okay, well, I don't have a say. And he actually molested me.
The person you reported to?
Yes. I remember I was just sleeping and I could feel somebody touching on me. So I thought it was a senior. When I woke up, to my surprise, it was the proprietor himself. I was in total shock. But I mean, he had his way, touched on me, did whatever he wanted to do.
He slept with you? He had sex with you?
He didn't have sex with me, but he was touching me because I told him that.
He used his fingers on you?
Yes. So he was doing that. I think it wasn't one time, it was for a period of time until we vacated and I went home and I told my mom and she was like, what? And this man did not call me. So she took me out of the school. And my second experience was when I was 9 years old.
So in that school, you had 2 different persons, older person, the person who molested you and the person you reported to who was supposed to protect you.
So a day after my 9th birthday, I came back from school and a neighbor that we are all really actually cool with, I eat at their house, they eat at my house. It's like his wife was heavily pregnant at the time, so I was taking his little boy with me to school and back. So he called on to the other kids around in the house, Jessica and Angela, but nobody responded. And he yelled out to me, Amma, Amma. I'm like, yeah, I'm back. And he's like, okay, come, I need to send you. So he sent me to go all the way up to the junction to the street to buy him geisha. At that time, geisha soap was a really new thing. So excitedly, I just went on the errand and I came back. When I got back, he told me, oh, the door is open. You could go put it inside. So I went in to go put it on the center table. Immediately I got there, he came in behind and he locked up the door behind when I was trying to go out. And he told me to sit on the bed, so I did. And he brought a knife and told me, have I seen the knife? I said, yes. Have I seen how new and sharp it is? I said, yes. He said, okay, something is about to happen. Then it clicked that no, this guy is actually going to do this to me. But I didn't know how to react. So I had to stay calm because he told me if I shouted, if I said anything, he was going to kill me and I would never see my parents again. So I sat down quietly and watched him fold my top into my mouth, tie me down. And he had his way with me. And so I think I passed out. I woke up in the hospital later on and I was told I was bleeding seriously. But God being so good, my mom did not allow him go scot-free.
Thank God.
He
I
was
love your mom.
jailed. And so
He was jailed?
Yes, he's
Great.
still in prison and he'll be out when I'm 25.
Hallelujah for that. And we hope after that we can reappeal. Me. Wow. A neighbor that family trusted and everything. Folded to your mouth. Wow. So that was the second experience.
Yes. And the third one is pretty recent. Well, I had a job to do, and so I invited a photographer, and we had an arrangement that, okay, so you're gonna meet me at my place, we're gonna order the Uber, and then we're going to go to the location for the shoot. And he actually sexually assaulted me that morning before my my gig. Well, I didn't know how to react. I know people will say, yeah, you could defend yourself, but
Yeah, they haven't been in that situation before, so they can afford to talk such nonsense. Yeah.
my first instinct would have been, I kill you or you kill me. And I don't want things to escalate. So it's either I just allow you do whatever you want and you just leave, and that'll be it for me. I'll just deal with however.
So what has happened to this photographer? Tell me you reported.
No.
Why?
I decided not to, but I went for medicals and everything. So even though I had some bruises and other stuff, but thankfully I didn't contact any sexual diseases from him. So
Why do you want this one to go scot-free?
well, remembering when I was little that I had to stand in court to actually narrate everything that happened, I don't think I wanted to go through that. So I didn't tell my mom actually. I just told her I wasn't feeling well and I needed to go to the hospital. So she took me there. I actually spoke to the doctor and he did the right checkups he needed to do. And he was like, why aren't you reporting? And I'm like, I just don't want to. I just wanted to.
Was it a male or female doctor?
It was a male doctor. And I mean, for doctors to actually be telling you, oh, you don't want to report it because you actually enjoyed it.
Oh, no. Wait a minute. Is that what the doctor told you?
Yes. When he asked me why I didn't want to report, and I'm like, I don't think I want to. I just want a peace of mind. I mean, I've never cried. I've never actually had a time to cry about anything that has happened. I've managed to let it go one way or the other. Even though sometimes I have mental breakdowns and it's serious, I still manage my way through. I've been suicidal twice. And it's not like it was a planned thing, but I'll just say everything is psychological and mental. You'll be there and everything could just hit you at once.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't know what to do. You
But
just
Amma, you need help. You need to see a professional. For the fact that you haven't even cried. You know, I asked you and you just told me what, I always tell people as the reason many people don't report rape cases. The court having to stand in that dock in front of the judges and whoever to narrate the story. And sometimes the question they ask you, making you relive that, it puts a lot of it. That's one of the things that make people give up most of the time without, and that's one of the program I want to do with lawyers. Next week we'll be discussing that with lawyers. Why, what can be done about this?
yeah.
But I'm proud of you that you're still standing.
Thank you. It's all thanks to MFA.
MFA.
Yes. I'm sure if that phone call didn't happen that night, I'm not sure I'll be here.
Come here. Oh, come here.
Sorry.
Come.
I didn't expect to cry.
Come here.
I'm so sorry.
I know. 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 But you are an amazing young woman. Because I haven't heard yours yet, but I know you are also a survivor. But having your own issues and having to reach out to another person, that's something else. Yes. That's something else. Let me take a break. We'll be back.
The standpoint. The standpoint.
Welcome back to The Standpoint. And I know how you're thinking. And this is something that we really need to take seriously. I mean, well, let me say thank you to Yup Cleaning Services, House of Food, Auntie Vera and the team, Mrs. Ofori Poku and the family. We're so grateful to you. We are also grateful to Juice Time, 100% fruit juices, and of course, Vena Mineral Water and Bigo drinks. Now, MFA, how did you meet Amma?
I actually met her through my partner.
Okay.
She was my partner's friend, and she became my friend after that. Yeah, so that's how I met her.
What happened?
So, when I was a child, I was sexually abused. Around the age of about 5 and 7, it was continuous, and I didn't actually realize. Oh yes, I know.
A relative?
It was a close friend to our family, very close,
Older?
and I wasn't aware that it was wrong, and I didn't understand what exactly it was until I got older.
So what exactly did this person do?
This person raped me.
Raped you?
As
Continuously?
Continuously. And told me not to say anything to anybody. And during the course of this, I didn't understand that this is wrong. This shouldn't be happening. And I should say something. I had no concept of, what this actually was until I got older. You go to school. When I was in school, I believe it was this subject called citizenship education, which then became social studies. I don't know what it is now. But we were having a class and we were talking about rape and molestation. And at that moment, at about 12 years old, that's when I realized, oh, that's what happened. That's what was happening. And it took me a while to actually come forward and to, tell my parents. And I'm blessed to say that I have very understanding supportive, intelligent parent who knew not to blame me or get angry with me or anything like that. But this individual is no longer around us, and they have the understanding that they can never come around us again. So that is my first ever experience with sexual assault. But as I got older, I had other experiences too. And there was one experience in particular that completely just threw me for a complete loop because I really did not understand. See it coming, understand how did this happen? How, why? All the questions you can think of. And it led me to write a book titled Transformation. And this specific experience I'm talking about is I lost a friend, a very dear friend. And after her passing, I got closer to her family because we were all grieving. And unfortunately, one of her brothers used her passing as an open door and an opportunity to sexually assault me. And his mom played a hand in it.
Whoa.
Yes. And by this, what I mean is quite simply, after her passing, my interactions with her family, increased. And there was a day that I decided to, just pass by and see how they were doing. And when I was leaving, her mom passed a joke telling me that I should marry that specific brother. And before I knew it, as I'm about to leave, he asked me for a hug. And when I hug him, his hands don't land on my back. They hand right on my butt. Instantly, I began trying to push him, but this is someone that, can easily physically overpower me. And he didn't let go in an instant. He just had this very sick, disgusting, sadistic smile on his face. And I'm just pushing. And eventually he lets go of me and runs to the gate to open the gate so that I could leave. And I asked him, I was like, why would you do that? And his response was, I'm sorry, it's because I haven't seen you for a while. And the whole time, even as he was closing the gate, he had a huge grin on his face. Just a nasty, you could tell he was so satisfied and so happy and so proud of himself that he used his own sister's death as an open door to take advantage of me like that. Initially, I did not want to confront his mother. I didn't want my parents to confront her because in my mind, I was like, they just lost somebody. They just lost somebody.
We always make mistakes for excuses for them, don't we?
Exactly. They just lost somebody. They just lost somebody. It's okay. But, as days were passing, it was like I was being eaten alive. I just felt angry.
Because it triggered the past.
Exactly. I got angry. I got sad. It was just a roller coaster ride. And eventually, I decided that I on my own, not my parents, I on my own, I want to send his mom a message and tell her that this is what he did. I don't feel comfortable visiting again. I won't be visiting again. And, this is what it's going to be. So she reads the message. She doesn't say anything. And she calls me the next day. So she calls, I answer. She asks, how am I doing? How are my parents doing? This, that, and the third. And then instantly she just segues into, my son is not a womanizer. And she continues to say, I know him. I've raised him all my life. and just made just a bunch of excuses, just a whole bunch of excuses. Even had her daughter-in-law get on the phone and also vouch for him and say that, oh, you know, he's the kindest amongst his brothers, which was shocking.
What does that
Even
mean? I mean, so it's okay for him to have done what he did?
And she also said that, you know, maybe there was an attraction. And when you're attracted to somebody, you don't disrespect them. You don't cross their boundaries physically. You don't touch them without their consent. You tell them and you honor whatever response they give you, because just because you want me doesn't mean I want you. And his mom got back on the phone and she told me that if I didn't visit again, she will think about my deceased friend and she will start crying.
Blackmailing you emotionally.
Yes. It made me realize that society obviously has a serious problem, because the first mistake we make is assuming that just because someone is kind, polite, courteous, or friendly with you, or pursues a friendship with you, that means that they are sexually attracted to you, which is
for you.
Exactly, which is just BS, you know? So his mom knew what she was doing, passing that joke.
Yeah.
And this is where people have to learn that just because two people who are opposite genders are friends doesn't mean they have to be more than that. It doesn't mean one or the other wants more than that, right? So it just made me learn so much. I started to do research. I started to watch, you know, different documentaries and things like that. But I think what really took me through my healing journey is my relationship with God. It has been a very topsy-turvy journey when it comes to religion and faith and everything. But I realized when I was going through all that pain, the only way, other than speaking up and telling people, right, that I can really feel healing and comfort from this is from God. So I got closer to God, and, you know, I felt the heaviness, you know, just leaving me. And I decided to write a book too, because I realized that every time I would share my story, someone would tell me that they have had an experience too. Like, and it doesn't just affect women. It doesn't just affect girls. It affects men and boys too.
Well. Yeah.
And one thing about sexual assault is that it's not just about pleasure. It's about power. It's about power. It's about feeling like, I know I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to do it anyway because I can. Because I can. I was so angry, I decided to confront him again. Not physically, of course, but I decided to confront him, you know, through the text. And he had the nerve to accuse me of being the one who assaulted him. He had the nerve to say that he asked me for a hug. He didn't ask for me to rush on him with my breast. It just doesn't even make sense, because what am I supposed to do?
Take them right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do? Take them off and put them on my back? Yeah.
I like that.
Exactly. Am I supposed to take them off and put them on my back? A hug is naturally a chest-to-chest action. So if you know that somewhere in you, in your scrambled eggs for brains, then don't ask for hugs. It's that simple. If you know you are sexually aroused by hugs, which is such an insane thing to say, then don't ask for them. Don't ask for them. It's that simple.
Wow.
So I included all of this, including his confession, in the book, and I also did consider going to the police, you know, getting law enforcement involved in everything, but I didn't feel very confident. I didn't feel like I could depend on law enforcement and the
Why?
justice system, because I have heard so many stories from other people about how they...
Right, we'll get into that, but hold on, let me come to Amma. I still believe you need to seek counseling. MFA, don't you agree? And did you get any profile? You did?
I did.
You did. You did. Okay. I still believe that, you need it. But I am glad you're not in the situation of self-guilt.
Yeah.
You're not there.
No.
You don't blame yourself.
No, by God's grace.
You understand that this happened to you, not your fault. The people who did this to you should have known better. And the photographer one, the motherly instinct is kicking in me. I wish you would report. But of course, it is your decision. And no one can force you to do anything. And hopefully you don't have any relationship with this person anymore. You're not working together.
No. There are occasions where I run into him in the neighborhood, but I just pretend he's not there and I just walk past. He tries talking to me sometimes. I just brush it off and leave.
Don't you think you need a restraining order?
I think the last time, it's not too long ago, that he pulled up at my place and
You gave him the warning.
I think he actually took that. I told him, you know what you did, if you've come to your senses that it's not okay, and if you need forgiveness, you should ask God for forgiveness and ask him to purify your heart and your mind, that whatever came on you for you to think you are in my space so you could do whatever you want, ask God to actually give you a spirit of discernment or something to help your conscience that you're looking for, but it's not gonna be from me. And I don't hold anything against you. I mean, we've been friends, not close friends, but we all work in the same industry anyway. I'm not going to tell anybody who you are and what you did, even though I've said it now, but just keep on living your life. I'm gonna keep living mine, and hopefully we never meet again. So I think I'm okay with that, and I pray to God. I mean, I'm always grateful to God and to the fact that he brought MFI into my life, because my relationship with God was driving into shambles because I'm a preacher's kid.
You're a PK. A PK.
Yes. To be a PK and actually have certain things happen to you,
then you start
makes you
God.
question God a lot. So I was like, you know what, why would you bring me into this world and one person have things happen to, same thing happen to occasionally? When are you going to let these people stop? And it's not like you don't see them before it happens. You know everything. So if you know everything, why are you making it happen? I used to ask myself so many questions, but I thank God for bringing MFI to my life.
What answers have you had?
Well, some answers that I've had is everything happens for God's glory at the end of the day. And I know that's not the end of my story. MFI always tells me that,
Indeed.
that God has a very big purpose for your life. And so, Amma, don't worry, don't cry. I mean, that's not the end of your life. You have a very much bigger purpose. And I believe that now. I know that's not the end of my story. I know me sharing my story and how...
Hopefully it's not affected how you see yourself, your self-worth.
Yes. Yeah. So I thank God that even though it's not 100% healed, it's going to take time. Time heals.
Time heals.
And
it's a process.
God, yes, all things are possible. I could have mental breakdowns like I did back in high school, where I actually went missing for 3 days.
Whoa.
And up to date, I have no memories whatsoever what happened within that 3 days. What happened is actually funny because girls' dormitory. I went to a 99% high school boys because I wanted to do computer science. So I was the only girl in class for 3 years. And it wasn't easy having to see so many boys around me, but I think I thank God for that experience because that helped me. And I think that could be one factor to the reason why I haven't cried about anything yet. But I think it's all good. They were talking about how they gave up their virginities to their boyfriend consensually, I mean willingly. I mean, they talk them. Oh yeah, he talked me through it. I'm like, okay, I want to do it, and it happened. It wasn't. It was bad, but it wasn't bad. I remember I just zoomed out of the conversation. I didn't say a word to anybody.
Because your experience wasn't
I was
like
like, I just kept. I went into my head and was like, what's so nice about this that you guys are talking about? Can't you see that these people are taking advantage of whatever you are supposed to hold so dear to you? And always, because I'm a preacher's kid and I had an elderly sister, my dad would always say, look up to your sister. I mean, she's in her 20s then, she's a virgin, look up to her, don't follow boys. I'm like, bro, if I had the opportunity to keep it, what makes you think I'll just give it up like that? He didn't understand because I wasn't staying with him, and I don't blame him or any of my families for what happened. But when that incident happened in school, I just zoomed out. I remember I cried bitterly. So everybody was like, what's wrong? Why are you crying? We were just having a conversation, but what's happening? And I just walked out of the dormitory. And the last memory I had was walking out of the school main gate, not talking to anybody. I just went out.
And for 3 days, you don't remember where you went?
For 3 days, because I was an Accra student from Accra to Kumasi. I just left campus, didn't know where I was, what happened, where I slept, whether I ate or not. To date, I have absolutely zero memory of what happened within that 3 days. The only thing I remember was a senior saw me. I was like, you are the students. They had an announcement about that you are missing. Are you a KTI student? Are you going to this school? I'm like, I don't know. And he said, oh, I think you are the one. Come with me. So he took me to campus and they were like, oh yeah, she's been found. Oh my God, where have you been? And I just kept looking at everybody like, what's going on? Why are you guys questioning me? Am I not here? And they're like, no, you've been missing for 3 days. And actually, this is what happened. You cried. We tried talking to you. You didn't say anything to anybody. Absolutely zero words. And you just went missing. So they took me to the school counseling. But I didn't say anything to anybody because I was 0% interested in talking about it. So I didn't say anything to anybody. So my house mistress was like, okay, I think everybody should stop talking about it. And nobody actually talked about it till I completed. So I had that time to regroup and try and...
Amma, you've been through a lot, girl. You've been through a lot.
Well, it's just a little.
Just a little, yeah. But you're still standing.
Yes.
You're still standing. That's the beauty of the story.
Yes.
Abused but not damaged.
No, I'm not.
You're still pursuing your dream.
Yes, regardless.
Pursue your dream.
Regardless.
Yeah. What do you want to be in future?
Well, I want to be a rich auntie.
Hallelujah.
Amen. I want to be a rich auntie. I want God to use me to help younger people that actually have been through that, and those that will actually meet the experience. It's not going to be all sugar and butter. There's going to be a pinch of salt somewhere. Pepper.
And when are you writing your own book?
Maybe somewhere in the future, since my sister is a writer herself. Maybe she would help me
to write your story.
Yeah, but I'm 100% in support of her book. I purchased it, I read it, and that was my first step to actually acknowledging that, oh, okay, so all of this has happened and I'm not alone. She always tells me that
Yeah, you're not alone.
I'm not alone. So I'm like, okay. I mean, reading her book, it made me reflect on everything. That day, I cried bitterly for a bit when I was reading her story. I'm like, oh no, she's been through that. It wasn't even about me. And I'm like,
Wow.
okay, so yeah, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to be here and help and support her so that we could push the whole
That's
agenda.
yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing, and thank you for not giving up on yourself. And I'm going to pursue you to make sure you get the necessary help that you deserve. You need to be taken through the process. I still believe that you really need to. Otherwise, you don't know when it will all. I mean, with God, all things are possible. I mean, God does everything, but it's the same God who's giving these specialists, the counselors, the psychologists, the psychiatrists, that knowledge, that power to be able to help us. So I'm going to chase you.
Yes.
Going to chase you with know that, you know.
Thank you.
MFA, where can we get your books to buy?
So my book is available.
Can I have
Yes,
it and show it?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Transformation, transcend and transform.
Yes, ma'am.
MFA Macam. It's here. Where can we get the books to buy?
The book is available at Vidya Bookstore. They have a branch in Osu and Laboni Cantonment, and it is also available on Amazon and Lulu. You can access a link from my Twitter page. My Twitter is at Rachel MFA, and my Instagram is MFA Markham, where you can find the links to the pages where you can purchase it online. And I also have two pages, one being the Transformation Foundation, which was created after the book, and Sexual Assault Africa, which is on Instagram. It is on Twitter. And the Transformation Foundation is also on Instagram and on Twitter as well.
Finally, let me ask you, for when you cry, do you cry out of regret? Do you cry out of pain? Or you cry out of the fact that you survived?
I would say at this point, it would be crying from surviving and just taking it all in, that, wow, that really happened. And, you know, going through that phase where I blamed myself, you know, which is crazy. A situation is safe until it isn't. Everything was fine until that person decided to do something
And
without
that's a
my
phase
consent.
every survivor of abuse goes through.
Yes, ma'am.
You get through the page of, you know, the phase of self-blame.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, my book, When Strong Women Cry, I write about the processes that you go through, the denial stage, the stage of, you know, self-blame, and then the stage of guilt and, you know, anger that it happened to me. How could I have allowed this to happen to you? Then the stage of acceptance, knowing that it has happened, and then the stage was, okay, what am I going to do about it? So there are various phases that you go through, you know, as you go through this, you know, dealing with the trauma of abuse, you know. So thank you so much for putting it down in a book, and thank you so much for sharing with us. I mean, definitely I'll be following up with you too, and I know there are other women in your group. Not all of them feel comfortable sharing at this moment. Thank you so much for coming to share. I'm sure that there are other people who are watching and had understood that they are not alone, and they really don't have to blame themselves.
Yes.
You know, so parents, look out for your younger ones. With ladies, don't keep quiet, speak up, speak to somebody, seek help, because it's not your fault. It is not your fault. You are a victim, but you are a survivor as well, and you may be abused but not damaged. I'll be back with a bit of me.
The standpoint.
Sometimes it doesn't make sense, does it? It simply doesn't make sense. Sometimes a child that you witnessed her birth, you saw her being bathed, you saw her crawl, yet you find it okay to sexually abuse her. I mean, sexual abuse does not make sense. In fact, abuse in any form doesn't make sense. Not justified. Especially abuse of young people, children. But my young lady, my sister, my friend, my daughter, it happens sometimes. I mean, if you're a victim, if you have been through this painful experience of abuse in any form, it's not okay, but you will be okay. You are not damaged. It's not the end of your life, especially when you seek help. You need to seek help. You need to speak to the right person. I know it's not easy, I know, but for your own good, to be able to deal with it, to get it out of your system. I know you may never forget it. You may never, take it out of your mind, but when you need help, when you have help, when you receive the right counseling and take it through the right process, even the triggers don't hit that bad. Don't send you back to where it all began. I don't know what we can do to end it. But to you, who make mockery of survivors of abuse, who blame them of making them feel that it's their fault, to you, I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you. Let's rise up to support victims. Let's rise up to support survivors. Abuse is no respecter of person. Can happen to anyone at any time. We need to keep talking about it. And I tell survivors to dare to speak up if they want to. Don't be pressured. Don't be forced. Speak up if you want to speak up. And I call on the institutions, doctors, nurses, midwives, the police, lawyers, to please understand and help the survivors. Don't make it worse. I remain a woman with super crazy faith in God. I know God has got us covered, but He has given us wisdom. Let's apply it. One day, just one day, the tears will end. Thanks for watching. See you same time next week. Bye for now.